Howdy, this is David Groce, your Texas tax and lawman. Let's talk about that first big real estate question that young people, both single and new families, wrestle with. Should I buy or rent a home? In the current real estate market, that may not even be a viable question. Property values have risen so much in the DFW area that affordable starter homes are getting harder and harder to find. The thought of buying your first $150,000 starter home may simply put you out of the driving range or in an undesirable neighborhood. Let's set aside these limitations and discuss the practical considerations in making this decision. First, are you ready to own a home? Are you ready to be responsible for the air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems? If you buy a house with a yard, are you ready to mow, blow, and weed eat? For busy young professionals, the answer to some of these questions may be no, and that's okay. For others, they do not have the cash reserves needed to cover these uncertainties. If renting is simpler because it lets the landlord maintain responsibility for the property, then that's a win-win for both of you. Second, do you have the money to buy a home? In the old days, a home buyer had to have 20% down. Now, FHA loans allow a first-time home buyer to purchase a home with as little as 3% down. So a $150,000 house would require a down payment of $4,500. In addition, you will probably have some closing costs, prepayments for taxes and insurance, and other expenses like getting a survey and paying an appraiser, which can cost another couple of $1,000s. Beyond making the down payment, you would be wise to have some cash in reserve. I would recommend at least 2 or 3 months of mortgage payments at a minimum. And speaking of mortgage payments, what would your payment be for a $150,000 home? Well, the rule of thumb for buying a house on a 30-year note at 8% interest, including principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is 1% per month. That means a $150,000 home would cost you around $1,500 per month. That may be comparable to what you would pay in rent. Third, let's say you have the money. You think you're ready for the responsibilities of home ownership, but you still can't decide. The biggest obstacle here is usually uncertainty about the future. If you do not know how long you're going to be in the current job or live in the current city, then I would not recommend buying a home for 2 reasons. First, when you buy a home, you can either pay those costs up front or roll them into the loan. Either way, you will be out about $5,000. How long do you need to own that home before you can make back that $5,000? That all depends on appreciation of the property. But my traditional analysis has been 3 to 5 years. With the current appreciation rates in DFW, you maybe make that money back in a shorter period of time. But still, it takes time for your property to increase in value. Not to mention that you will have sales costs like 6% realtor fees and closing costs when you go to sell the home. Long story short, I think your minimum commitment should be 2 years before you commit to buy a home. That helps you for 2 reasons. First, you give your property enough time to appreciate and recoup your cash invested. But second, owning the property for 2 years as your primary residence allows you to take advantage of the best loophole in the tax code: the exclusion of gain on the sale of a principal residence. Each spouse can recognize up to $250,000 worth of gain on the sale of a principal residence and pay no tax. For a couple, they could make a $500,000 profit tax-free on the sale of their primary residence. Now, this rule opens up another potential opportunity. The law requires that your home be your principal residence 2 out of the last 5 years. That means you could live in it for 2 years, then rent it for 3 years, and then sell it and still get tax-free gains. That could be a huge tax savings. And for those of you who have the money and means to buy but can't bear the thought of mowing a yard, well, think about a condo or a zero lot line community where the Property Owners Association does the landscaping. In the end, being the owner gives you the benefit of real estate appreciation and the potential to grow your net worth over the long haul. Paying rent gets you a place to live while your landlord enjoys the benefits of being an owner. Thanks for checking us out. If you know a young couple who could use this discussion, send them this video. Until next time, adios. Texas Tax and Lawman Legal Disclaimer. Hey, I'm a lawyer. You know I have to have some lawyer mumbo jumbo. This is a general information video, not client attorney privilege information. The content is informational only and is not directed to any specific facts or circumstances and cannot be relied upon as a legal opinion, even though that would be nice and save you a trip to the lawyer. If you have a specific legal question, feel free to contact David Groce directly or seek qualified legal or tax counsel in your state of residence, state of mind, or whatever place you call home.